Good afternoon everyone, and happy, it is actually Wednesday today, so happy middle of the week. And yes, it is another little news update for you. There is more news to run through, in particular something that I think can be absolutely devastating to the tourism industry over here that has come out in the last hour or so. So remember, if you do enjoy these updates, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're new as well. There is other videos on the channel, we do live streams, etc. as well, but I am going to be going through the main bits of news to keep you guys updated. If you are planning on coming over or you're scheduled to come over, a lot of people asking me every single day, so I'm just going to try and keep you as up to date as I can. Starting where we always do, of course, is the COVID update, and the title here is New Cases Skyrocket to over 2,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. Today sees the worst data in 22 months since the first cases of coronavirus in Spain were recorded back in La Gomera on the 31st of January in 2020. We all thought after the fifth wave that the worst of the pandemic was over, and how wrong we were. The Ministry of Health has reported 2,051 new cases in the Canary Islands today, as the increase continues after the usual dip in weekend figures. So really not good at all. Tenerife sets a new record with 1,417, followed by Gran Canaria with 424, Lanzarote with 89, Fuerteventura 71, La Palma 26, La Gomera 16, and El Hierro with 8. So although hospitalizations and ICU admissions haven't increased, there were 2 more deaths recorded, and now over 120,000 people in the Canaries have tested positive. So cases are continuing to rise, and that is the reason I am going to continue on and tell you in a moment why I do think it could be devastating for the tourism industry. They're about to potentially do something to try and combat that, which again, yeah, I can agree with, but not what they've got planned. So I will discuss that one in a moment. I just want to go through some of the reasons why they are asking for this decision to be made. Overall, cases really have gone up. Total active cases per island, 9,786 in Tenerife. Gran Canaria 4,774, Fuerteventura 1,295, Lanzarote 518, La Palma 186, La Gomera 53, and El Hierro 27. So it has gone up quite a little bit, more record figures, no real changes going on. Next article here, Spain say they are monitoring the situation with the UK day by day, as we see increases in England going up quite a lot as well. They are continuously monitoring it, but as it stands, there are no changes to that at all. Brits can still come here as long as they are double vaccinated and fill in the Spanish QR form. That has not changed at all. There is fears that it might change. I know the UK are asking for a travel corridor potentially, but at the moment, no changes. They're keeping an eye on it. But we've not seen anything change as for Brits coming over on holiday at all. Now, in the last update, I mentioned that 10 people could meet at Christmas and New Year for dinner and things. Now, as I read that, as I understood it, that would apply to restaurants. It now turns out that it doesn't. Christmas dinner only for 10 people at home, not in bars and restaurants. So the Vice President of the Canary Islands has announced, this was yesterday, that it will only be for situations where you would be at home or with family at home. It's not going to apply to bars and restaurants. In particular, it does say here, as is limited only to the family environment, i.e. homes, bars and restaurants and other businesses will still remain. A maximum number of people in level 3 is still 6 per table. So that just clears that up for the situation over Christmas. Moving on to the next little article here. This again ties in with the headline of this video. Canaries requests COVID certificate, whereas Catalonia asks courts for a curfew. So on the same day that the Canarian government sent a request for mandatory use of COVID certificates, for commercial activities in level 3 and 4. The main regional government, which governs the likes of Barcelona, etc., have asked if they can reinforce a curfew. So it looks like here for the Canaries, they're trying to get vaccine certificates back in at the bars and restaurants. Pros and cons to that, I'm sure you'll all argue amongst yourselves over that. But as a whole, like it or not, that will put people off travelling over here. Now, the big main news that has come out today that I do think will, if it's passed, I think it's going to really affect the amount of tourists coming over. And that is, the headline goes like this: the Canary Islands have asked for mask outdoors and ability to impose a curfew. So the president of the Canary Islands government, Angel Torres, is taking part in a conference of presidents in Madrid today, and will request that masks be mandatory again indoors and outdoors, and also for a legal framework for autonomous communities in order to be able to restrict mobility at night with a curfew. Now, I think that would be very damaging to ask people to wear masks outside again. Again, I'm no expert. Maybe they've got statistics that suggest that's where a problem lies. Personally, for me, to wear masks outside again, personally, I wouldn't want to do it. But I know so many tourists and people will cancel over that. They will just not come. They will not want to wear a mask walking down the promenade, etc. They're roughly my thoughts. I mean, again, I'm not an expert. People will agree, people will disagree. That also suggests to me, I've seen a lot of Facebook groups, people having a constant pop at tourists, and it's the tourists bringing in the rates. If it was the tourists in particular, then surely they would either be banned by now, or they would have reintroduced the requirement for a negative test coming in. The fact that we're jumping into masks outside before even considering doing anything with tourists suggests to me it ain't just tourists, it's residents as well. I do think it's both. Simple as, I mean, that's what my thoughts are. Remember, these are my opinions. I think it's a mix of both, and plainly from that request, they seem to suggest it's both as well. But hopefully, personally, I hope that doesn't get passed, because I don't think that is going to be very good for the islands at all. I think so many people will just cancel and go to other destinations where they don't have to wear a mask. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that one. I just saw it and I thought, we really are going backwards. We really are, and it is a real shame. But having said that, if you are still coming to Tenerife, as I said, as it stands, you can come in, no problem at all, with your vaccine certificate. You can still have a good time. You may have to book a restaurant, or you may find it a little bit more difficult to get inside a restaurant. But again, no major issues. Now, on the last news update video I did, people said, well, can you tell us the difference between level 3 and level 4? We're currently in level 3. There's a good chance tomorrow, Thursday, we will move into level 4. So I'm going to run through what level 3 means now quickly. Masks have to be worn inside or outside if a 1.5 metre distance cannot be maintained. Bars and restaurants can stay open until 2 AM if they're allowed to. Karaoke, cocktail bars and disco bars are open but no dancing. Outdoor capacity for bars and restaurants is 50% and no more than 6 people at a table. Indoor capacity is 33% and no more than 4 at a table. Beaches restricted to 50% and a maximum of 4 per group. Now I'm going to run through what tier 3 is. Personally, I don't think there's a huge difference here. Again, masks don't have to be worn outside as long as you can maintain the distance, providing this new thing isn't passed. Masks do have to be worn whilst moving around inside, same as level 3. Bars and restaurants can only stay open until 1 AM, so an hour difference. In level 3, it's 2 AM. In level 4, it's 1 AM, not a huge difference. Outdoor capacity for bars and restaurants restricted to 33%, slightly less, not a huge difference. Still 6 per table as well outside. Indoor capacity is reduced to 25%, a little bit less, and no more than 6 allowed per table. Spas, saunas, jacuzzis must remain closed. So you may see your likes of your spas, etc. closing in level 4. Outdoor swimming pools are restricted to 33% capacity. Beaches the same, 50%, maximum of 4. And again, it's the same with the public transport. It's reduced capacity, and you must wear a mask at all times. So there isn't a huge difference between level 3 and 4. If you're coming on holiday and you see us move into level 4, I wouldn't panic. It's not a huge difference. I've got to say as well, being back here for nearly a week now, it's very quiet. We walked along the promenade live the other day. The video is on the channel. We did 3 hours live stream. We went through Los Cristianos, Las Americas, Adeje, but we went up to Fania Bay, and the promenade was very quiet. We barely heard any English accents, so there really isn't many Brits here at the moment. Driving past bars and restaurants, again, overall, pretty quiet. I don't think you'd have any problems getting a table. So I wouldn't panic, I wouldn't worry too much. You can still come and have a good time. My only concern personally is if that is past the outdoor mask thing, I'll go along with it, but I think it's going to be very damaging for tourism in the time that it's implemented. For the likes of me, we've just been to America. We had a great holiday, a great time. Things felt a bit more normal. We wore our masks inside, but outside, you know, walking around, we had some lovely nature walks, nature cycles, etc. without masks. And for me, if I had to do that with masks over there, would I have had as good of a time? Probably not. So something to consider there. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do subscribe to the channel as well. I'm going to be keeping you as up to date as I can. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and stride on for now. Stay positive. Let's see if this gets passed, and if it does, let's see what people's thoughts are as well. Get commenting, and see you soon.